Welcome to this explainer. I want you to close your eyes for just a second and picture a landscape defined by absolute, harsh extremes. A place where history isn't just written down in some dusty book, but literally carved out of the earth itself. Today, we're taking a truly cinematic dive into one of the most enduring, mind-bending mysteries of human civilization. We're going to unpack the unbelievable scale, the deep spiritual motivations, and honestly, the completely baffling scientific anomalies of these ancient megastructures. So whether you're a hardcore ancient history buff or just someone who loves a good puzzle about human ingenuity, this explainer is going to give you a completely fresh look at the eternal enigma of Giza.
Okay, let's jump right in. Amidst the scorching desert sand. Look, this isn't just some poetic phrasing. It is the literal, brutal reality of where these monumental structures live. Imagine the unrelenting heat, the blinding sun, an environment that is just fundamentally hostile to human survival. And yet, right there, smack in the middle of this unforgiving Egyptian desert, these colossal silhouettes just rise up against the horizon. They've stood there for millennia, silently watching empires rise, golden ages completely flourish, and modern civilizations emerge, all while taking a constant beating from the wind and the sand. This harsh setting makes the very existence of these pyramids not just an architectural win, but a massive testament to sheer human willpower.
Section 1. An ancient Egyptian marvel, the Great Pyramid of Giza. Out of all the mysterious constructions in human history, this specific pyramid is just in a league of its own. It's the most famous, the most intensely studied, and frankly the most intimidating structure of the ancient world. When we talk about the pyramids, we aren't just talking about old buildings. We're talking about the absolute peak of ancient engineering. And get this, it was constructed 4,500 years ago. Try to really wrap your head around that scale of time for a second. 4.5 millennia? To put that into perspective, Cleopatra lived closer in time to the invention of the iPhone than she did to the building of the Great Pyramid. Crazy, right? It's so ancient that for most of recorded human history, it was already considered an ancient antiquity. Yet, despite being 4,500 years old, it remains largely intact, just proudly defying the natural decay that's claimed virtually every other wonder of the ancient world.
Now, if the age doesn't stagger you, the sheer physical scale absolutely will. This construction required millions of heavy stones. We're talking an estimated 2 million individual blocks. And these weren't just bricks a mason could casually toss to a buddy. We are talking several tons each, roughly 2 to 15 tons per block. That is literally the weight of a modern SUV, or, an adult elephant. The logistical nightmare of quarrying, transporting, and then stacking millions of these massive stones into a perfectly geometric shape, it's mind-boggling. It seriously challenges our entire understanding of human labor.
Section 2. Tombs of the Pharaohs, the purpose of the pyramids.
So why do it? Why expend this unimaginable amount of energy and resources? Well, we have to pivot from the physical scale of these stones to the human and cultural obsession behind them. These structures weren't palaces. They weren't public temples. They were hyper-focused, singular monuments dedicated entirely to death. Or, more accurately, the ancient Egyptian obsession with what comes after death. To get this, you have to understand who they were built for. A pharaoh was an ancient Egyptian king, like Khufu, but they were viewed as way more than just mortal rulers. Actually, scratch that. They were considered literal living gods on earth. The Egyptians had this deep, unwavering belief that the soul lived on long after the physical body gave out. Death wasn't the end. It was just a transition. So, the pharaoh needed a resting place as immortal and unshakable as his divine soul.
Now, what's really interesting here are the practicalities of this afterlife belief. Buried right alongside the pharaoh were treasure, food, and everyday essential items. The pyramid wasn't just a tomb, you see. It was like a giant cosmic survival vehicle designed to keep the king going in eternity. They didn't just pack gold and jewels to show off. They packed real food, tools, furniture, practical stuff, because they genuinely believed the pharaoh would literally need these items to navigate and rule the underworld. All that staggering effort wasn't about building a tourist attraction for the living. It was about securing the cosmic order of the universe by protecting their god-king in death.
Section 3. The construction mystery. Lack of modern technology.
It's one thing to have the motivation to build a literal mountain of stone. It is a whole other thing to actually pull it off. Remember, this is 4,500 years ago. No diesel engines, no hydraulic cranes, no laser levels, no steel cables. So how is this built so accurately without modern technology? We aren't just talking about a messy pile of rocks here. We are talking about optical precision. The original casing stones that covered the pyramid were polished flat to a fraction of an inch. How does a Bronze Age civilization achieve tolerances that modern architects would sweat over today? It's the central question that has sparked endless debates and shifted this from a simple history lesson into a massive, enduring detective story.
While the full picture is still kinda elusive, the current scientific consensus actually points to incredibly simple methods. Step 1, simple tools. We're talking copper chisels, stone mallets, and wooden wedges. Step 2, ramps. Just immense ramps used to move these massive, heavy stones. The going theory is that vast networks of ramps, maybe straight, maybe zigzagging, or even spiraling up the inside of the pyramid, were used to just drag these multi-ton blocks into the sky. It relied on pouring water to slick the sand, massive amounts of organized manpower, and just pure, unrelenting sweat equity. It was a masterpiece of human coordination rather than some triumph of complex machinery.
Section 4. Alignment and Enduring Secrets, the Mysteries that Remain.
But lifting the stones is only half the battle. As we hit the climax of our explainer, we run into the secrets hidden in those walls that completely challenge modern science. And this brilliantly illustrates the real anomaly, the alignment. On one hand, you have a complete lack of modern technology, primitive methods, right? But on the other hand, you have perfect alignment to the 4 cardinal directions, north, south, east, and west, with a margin of error of mere fractions of a degree. Plus, some researchers point to compelling stellar connections, suggesting the layout of the pyramids perfectly mirrors specific star constellations, like Orion's Belt. How does a civilization with no compasses and no telescopes lock a 6 million-ton building into the exact true north of the Earth, perfectly aligned with the cosmos? It's a level of astronomical precision that frankly feels like it belongs way in the future, not the distant past.
At the end of the day, the Great Pyramids are the ultimate symbol of human intelligence, unfathomable hard work, and profound mystery. They force us to totally reconsider the timeline of human capability. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final thought to chew on. If an ancient people 4.5 millennia ago, armed with literally nothing but copper, rope, and brilliant minds, could orchestrate a monument that seamlessly connects the Earth to the stars, what else was ancient humanity truly capable of? And what other enduring secrets are still buried out there, amidst that scorching desert sand, just waiting to be unearthed? Thank you so much for watching. Keep questioning, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next explainer.